Fellas, fellas, fellas. Man, oh man, the playoffs are here. Whew, season grind. That shit's over. Put up or shut up. It's game time, fellas. Playoffs is in the motherfucking building. Whew. Let's jump in. Boy, man, oh man. Enough of these Monday night burners, man. That game was ridiculous last night. Had no intentions of being up all night watching, but damn sure I did. Lots of implications, man. Prayers up for Kyler. Hoping for a quick, speedy recovery. Man, so matchup one, man. Jeff Sims versus myself. 12-2 for me. 6-8 for Jeff Sims. Great year for Jeff. Not what he wanted. Tried to make that late playoff push. Didn't come together, but I think he had a hell of a season. Moving forward, ETN, Antonio Gibson, David Montgomery, Brandon Ayuk. Good pillars to kind of add some weapons around. You're going to need some big guns. But Jeff had a great year, great season, Sims. All the love, and happy belated birthday again, sir. Man, my wide receivers, slow week for me. But Pollard, Jacobs, Eckler, and Allen carried me through. Very, very happy about that. Going into the playoffs, I got Zach in week one matchup. We'll get into, we'll have a special playoff breakdown a little bit later at the end of the video. Very special breakdown. Potentially a special guest. Questions? That being said, man, hell of a season for myself. I'm feeling good, feeling confident. It's been a year, man, but it's a grind every year. We're here again, top scorer this year. Feeling great. Was able to edge out Drew, just barely. Motherfucker's always on my ass. But yeah, man, both great seasons for both. Jeff Sims hopefully sticks with those core pieces he likes, that running back room, and then add some weapons to that. And yeah, man, great season, Jeff. Oof, Javi and Bill. Great season for Javi. 9-5. Started to kind of slow down towards the end of the year, but still a fantastic season. Number 2 seed. Justin Jefferson, Dynasty wide receiver 1. Dude is amazing. Higgins injury, Swift a little banged up. Pierce is a little banged up. Javi's got some questions going into the playoffs, but he's had a hell of a season. Fought hard, dedicated, made trades, was active. So very good to see Javi back in the playoffs. Bill looking like that 101, finished 3-11. Good foundation to add Bijan, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, and some vets like Zeke, and then hoping to see some of these rookies kind of pop off again. The John Dotsons, Wando maybe getting back from injury. So Bill should be in a good position moving forward with his future. Whew, Drew and Zach, man. I don't know what it is this season about Monday night games, but they've just had nothing but burners. Horrible loss for Zach, losing Kyler. Prayers up. Hopefully Kyler, quick, speedy recovery. Nevertheless, definitely a loss for Zach. Kirk Cousins did drop 32 last week. There's no replacement for Kyler. But, not the worst drop down if Kirk can maybe give you that type of a game one more time. I'm personally not hoping for that since I'm playing Zach, but I'm just looking at the optimistic side of things. Captain Kirk can maybe come through and do some things for Zach to kind of keep him relevant. DPJ's been on fire. Tyreek Hill's been doing great things. 10-4 record for Zach, coming in as a 4th seed. Fantastic season there. Nothing but kudos, Zach. 2nd year, really becoming a force. Got to be happy with that result. Drew, 11-3, coming in. Number 3 seed, probably the scariest 3 seed in the world. He'll be matching up with Javi later on in the playoffs. Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, QB 1 and 2, man, they're on the same team, people. It's Drew's team. It's a problem we're going to have to deal with. But nevertheless, amazing season by Drew. Few questions throughout the roster. The tight end, kind of high-powered, just kind of slowed down a little bit. Running back room stuff, a little bit of questions there. But I expect Drew to have a full bounce-back week and be rearing to go for the playoffs. Avery and Justin. Avery had CMC go nuts. 4-10 on Avery for the season. Jeff is sitting with that pick right now. It is the 103. Debo did get a little banged up. We're thinking high ankle sprain, hoping it's nothing significant, no surgery or anything like that. Avery had a very difficult year with injuries and maybe not committing early enough, and maybe with the not the right moves. He did go get Debo, but maybe he needed to go get another running back as well. Avery does have some pieces available. Interesting. Romeo Dobbs, Thornton, CMC. So we'll see what Avery does in the offseason. We'll see if he makes some moves, tries to get some draft capital back, get into the draft, or continue to build around his players. We got Justin, 3-11. 102. 102, Justin. Inbox. Justin, check the inbox. I already sent a trade. Justin Sin with the 102. Had a beautiful sighting of Mike Will. Came back just to kind of still be that key vet on Justin's roster once he adds all this youth and everybody gets healthy again. We saw Devontae Smith start to kind of have some consecutive games where he was really, really a part of the game plan there. So Justin, I kind of know this is probably best case scenario. I know he probably wanted 101, but I don't know if he thought he was going to get 101. So Justin's probably pretty happy with how the season went. Battling through the injuries is tough, man. There's really nothing anybody can do in that regard. But I'm very excited to see what Justin's squad looks like next year. 102 pick adding in, getting all that youth back and healthy. Justin should be a playoff team next year. But very excited to see how he goes through his process. Whew, Jeff and Rocco. Zay Jones, Mr. Jeff with a G, Mr. LaCava, 5-9 on the season, 5 wins. That's big shit, man. I would have thought Jeff maybe had 3 wins on the season, maybe. But getting 5 wins, Jamar Chase looking like Jamar Chase, Zay Jones still balling out. I remember when I had Zay Jones and Jeff said, what can I do with Zay Jones? I dropped him. Jeff has picked him up and started him ever since. Questions? But great season for Jeff, man. Very happy for him. He's done a really great job kind of retooling his team to what he wants, going youth, trying to get ahead of the curve. Very excited to see what he does with 2 top 5 picks, adding that to that roster. Rocco 7-7. Tough break and tough season for Rocco. It's tough when you're late in the game and you need to make moves and you just haven't been active all season. He needed Chubb and Henry to come through. They kind of just wet the bed for him in games he needed. He had the Lamar injury against Zach. So just a tough break, finishing 7-7 on the season. Chubb's not been doing as great since Deshaun's come in. Stevenson was a little banged up. Henry's getting older. So we're going to definitely look to see what Rocco's going to try to do in the offseason, make a move, get more draft capital, get another wideout. A lot of different options he has. But very intrigued to see where he goes. Nevertheless, Rocco's a great owner, great scouter, and I expect him to finally make some moves and maybe be a little bit more active in the regular season, throughout the season, to kind of help buffer and get that extra push to make those playoffs. We got Paul and John, 7-7, 7-7. I want to say both teams, for when they decided to do what they were trying to do, I think had a great year. Definite pillars for Paul, JT, Kirk, Allen, AJ, Njoku. Very, very bright future. 2 first-round picks in the middle this year. Very, very excited to see where Paul goes and what he does with that capital. John, 7-7, Foreman, Palmer, Sanders, Burks, Brian Robinson. There's some pieces, man. None that I'm 100% sold on, but some that I would love to have. So I just want to give John his credit. 7 wins. Very, very strong season for John. I think we all expected John to do a little bit worse, but we got to give him his dues, man. We got to give him his dues. You know what I'm saying? He built this city. We are going to chime in real quick and touch base with a special guest. Kind of wanted to rock y'all up, switch it up a little bit, give y'all some bonus content, and we're going to spin it to my boy right now.
What's going on, fellas? Just wanted to interrupt Donnie's weekly broadcast to wish the 4 playoff teams a good luck this year. As y'all know, Goon Squad will sadly not be repeating this year as a back-to-back champion, but definitely had fun, made a lot of ups and downs this season, but we will come back stronger next year. But wanted to congratulate Drew, Javi, Donnie, and Zach for taking my spot as the champ. One of these 4 will become the champion, and all these 4 owners are well respected, and I definitely like their teams. So Definitely looking forward to this new run and this new champion that's going to be crowned this year. Y'all boys go get it, and wish y'all the best of luck. All right, fellas, Champ returning here. Gonna give y'all some bonus content. Gonna break down all the teams in the playoffs and see some of the strengths, weaknesses, and potential questions going into their final playoff matchups. So let me start with Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Wonderful season. Did pretty well as far as a hot start. A little shaky going into the playoffs, but I feel like all the playoff teams are a little shaky right now. So we'll see if everybody can get it on and turn it around, have some high flying scores. QB, Josh Allen. There's no questions there. You're gonna go with Josh Allen. You're gonna ride with Mr. Stallion into the playoffs, and hopefully he can give us some big weeks that he usually gives us. His RB room is very solid. I think it's the best RB room out of all the playoff teams. You got Jacobs, Pollard, Eckler. Gives him a very good advantage at flex, with all of them starting in the rotation at once. So definitely looking good there. Receivers took a big hit when Cup went down, man, and he had to go ahead and flip that asset to give him a little bit more depth going into the playoffs. So you got Devontae Adams, which arguably could be the best wide receiver in the league still, which is awesome. But the questions here for Donnie is out of Pittman, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis. Who's gonna give you that solid week that you need to be competitive? Because these three guys are all they're not consistent. So you got to get some consistency from one of those two guys if you want to move on in advance. So that's the questions that I'm going to be looking for in your lineup, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then your tight end room, been pretty solid lately. Schultz is coming into form, doing a lot better than we thought that he was going to do. At least for me, I'm only speaking for me. I'm not the biggest Schultz guy, but he's coming along into form. So that's a good look for him. You got your Dawson Knox. I know for Donnie, that'll be a good stack if he is going to come into form in these playoffs. So we definitely want to see who are you going to pick between those two. That's questions right there. One of the weaker rooms in the playoffs is your tight ends, but still pretty two solid guys that could do well looking forward. You got Mr. Teflon Don, aka the Commish, making another consecutive run into the playoffs. So hopefully this time for him, he could finish it off with a chip. QB, obviously your strength, man. Both QB1 and QB2 on the league. So either or, you're going to get a consistent output from either one of them, whoever you decide to choose. But I'm sure you're thinking, I want to choose the guy who has the blow-up week. I don't want to bench somebody who's going to go off for 40, 50 events, So I definitely understand, even though it's a blessing to have both QB1, QB2, it could be scary. With your running back room, Dalvin Cook, Kamara, but then you got your young buck, Bam Knight. So will you start Bam Knight? Questions. And then moving into the wide receiver room, you got your boy Diggs, Garrett Wilson, who Drew knows that was my favorite wideout coming into the season. And then Chris Godwin and Jalen Waddle. Questions here is Godwin or Waddle? Both, not doing as well as I'm sure he wants. And it's going to be interesting to see who he goes with, who he trusts going into that week. So I'm excited to see who he picks and will he make the right decision. Tight end room, obviously Kelsey is the man here. And I think the decision for Drew is he going to go 4 wide? Is he going to mix in Scordero at the flex? Or is he going to go with Mark Andrews, who has been kind of shaky especially without Lamar? So interesting to see who he picks here. All right, moving on to the next team, the biggest bush, taking my spot, Zach. You know, kind of getting the formula from me. Will you go from worst to first? We'll see. We'll see. QB Kyler Murray. You know, high floor. You're definitely not going to mess with that. So, you know, Kyler's going to definitely be starting for you. The questions here are Dobbins, Aaron Jones, and Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson just got hurt, so probably going to be rolling with Aaron Jones and Dobbins moving forward. Your receivers, Hill, Amon, two solid stud wide receivers. Probably your best room is your wide receiver room. But will you go with Olave or Peoples-Jones, or are you going to go four wide as well? So that's something what I'm looking forward to seeing there. And then you got TJ Hawkinson and Greg Dulcich, which I think you're going to go Hawk, but who knows? You know, Dulcich is getting a lot of targets recently, so maybe you'll surprise us and start him in place. But definitely eager to see you in your first playoff matchup in the second year of the league. So that's going to be good for you, and hopefully you can make a run like me. We'll see. Then finally, the Tiger King, Mr. Joe Burrow himself at QB1. You know, Joe Burrow's been solid, so you're definitely going to start him over Brady for sure. You got Swift, Mixon, Harris, and Pierce. Out of those four, are you going to run 3 RBs? Are you going to get 2? And then I think you're going to run 3 RBs out of these. It's just which 3 are you going to pick? Wide receivers, Higgins got that injury. That's a brutal blow. Because that ruins the stack as well. So you're going to have to go, you know, you got Jay Jettis, so wide receiver 1, that's going to be easy. But can Cooper come fill up that spot you're missing? Then you got Mike Evans and Michael Gallup. Questions. That's questions right there. So hopefully you choose wisely, my friend. Looking forward to see what you do with that part of your lineup, because wide receivers have been tough. And then tight end, you went big and got my guy George Kittle. You know, he helped me deliver that title last year. So can he do the same for you with Mr. Purdy leading the helm? Gonna be interesting to see. And then you got your boy Chig, who's emerging. Will you be spicy enough and roll with Chig? I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how you guys go. Didn't do any defensive kicker rankings. You know, I'm not that guy. Sorry about that. But it's going to be a fun playoffs, man. I'm interested to see who pulls out, and wishing y'all the best of luck. So good luck, fellas, and looking forward to see who the new champ is for 2022. Let's get it.
Champ. Appreciate that, man. Great breakdown. We had the champ step in, give us a good rundown of the playoffs. Little passing of the baton there, so nothing but love there, Paul. Appreciate you, big dog, and expect you to be in the hunt next season. Boys, man, Dynasty till death. It's the greatest league, man. If you don't know by now, you're going to find out. Playoff push is here. Teams is locked in. And like I said before, man, it's put up or shut up time. So the host with the most, Obi-Don Kenobi, signing off. Playoffs? Yeah, baby. We talking about playoffs, not the game. Playoffs.